Hi y'all, welcome back to the garden. It's been a moment since I shot a video. I took a little bit of a break. I needed to do some other things around the house and I couldn't get to YouTube stuff, but what I have been working on is my plant library, which I talked about a while ago in a video. I've been curating a Excel sheet, a Google sheet of all the plants in my garden. It's not necessarily complete, but I am going to go ahead and share it here. It's going to be a link to it in all the descriptions of the video, and at the beginning of each video I'm going to have a QR code, because based on my Google Analytics or my YouTube Analytics, just over 50% of you watch on the television, so you could scan the QR code while you're watching and it'll take you to that Google sheet, and you can pull up all the plants in my garden by name, and then I have the genus and species, when they were planted, and the brand, and a couple other notes that I'm going to be adding to as I keep this list updated. I did not put like zone or height, width, any of that information in there because you can Google it. And the reason I didn't, I have a welcome sheet at the very beginning that kind of explains how to use the sheet. I didn't put height or width because that quite often changes, especially after a new plant is introduced. I've had that happen to me a couple times, especially like 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 was supposed to stay a lot smaller than it's currently listed on Proven Winners website when I planted them at the last garden. So I don't want any of the information in the sheet to be incorrect. So I would always recommend you go to the brand's website for that information. But it's going to be helpful because I've even listed some plants in there that did not make it in my garden. That way, if you live in a similar location or a similar climate, to know that you may have issues with those. Most of them have been zone marginal plants, like some camellias that just did not make it this past winter. But I think it's going to be a really great resource, and I'm going to keep it updated as I continuously plant new things in the garden. There may be a few things missing on it, so I curated the list based on my invoices for the past 2 years and the emails back and forth when I've been sent plants. So I've actually got to go through and check off everything I have on it and make sure that I have everything in these beds. I've also got it split by tab based on location in the garden. So there's the front garden, there's the shrub border, there's inside the pool area, and even vegetable and cut flower garden, what I have in those. So I think it's going to be a really nice resource, and then I'm just going to put that QR code at the beginning of each video. So if you're interested in checking out anything in my garden, you can click it and then it'll take you right to it. So the plant library is open. Now, it has been, our heat kind of has returned here, and so I've not done a whole lot out in the garden. I've just been trying to make sure everything is watered well. I am finally, we've not had any rain in a little bit. I think we're not supposed to get some storms over the next few weeks, but I've never been so happy to see the grass start to go dormant, because that means that hopefully no more crabgrass will be popping up. This has been the worst year for weeds and crabgrass specifically in the garden and in the lawn, because we've got so much rain and so much heat. It just allowed all of those weeds to germinate. So I made a joke on Instagram, I think, the other day on someone else's post that I hope all of the crabgrass seed germinated this year, so I don't have to deal with it in future years. But it's been a perpetual weeding issue for this entire front bed and all the beds on the property. Let's turn around and check out some things, see how some things are looking. There are a lot of things that have gotten really big. So the little lime punch hydrangeas have gotten a little toasty, a little more toasty than I would have liked. But like I said, I'm trying to manage how much water I'm putting on everything, and I had it cut down a little bit, probably a little lower than it needed to be for the past few days. And some things got a little toasty. But overall, most things are still looking pretty good. The Let's Dance Can Do hydrangeas are still like pumping out blooms, which is amazing. The roses have started to get a little bit of a flush back since we got a little bit of a cooler weather. And then there's some perennials like these echinaceas that need to be cut back. It is summerific week for Walter's Gardens and Proven Winners, and I've been trying to take some photos of my hibiscus, and I keep missing them when all of the blooms are open real pretty. But they did look good this year in some walk-arounds that I was doing earlier this week and elsewhere in the garden. The yarrow also needs to be cut back. It's probably been one of the worst years for yarrow because it just was so wet. So these are looking pretty rough. But most things that are not rain sensitive or like don't like moist soil are doing pretty good. I have had to come out here. I haven't hand watered any of my plugs that I planted in the front garden here. I've been watering around the back, but I need to come out here and touch some of these up. If we're having no rain, we'll see. I'll keep an eye on that over the next couple days. But see, there's still like crabgrass popping up everywhere. It's a nightmare. This is the 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 rose that I got from Heirloom Roses in the spring, and it's grown quite a bit. It's at least 3 foot tall. For its first season, it is on drip irrigation. Well, yeah, it should be getting a little bit of drip around this sedum. Probably not much, because I didn't put drip here, because I know they don't like the water, but there is a drip line that kind of runs through there. So it's probably getting a little bit of water, but it's doing quite well. All of the perennials that I cut back about 3 to 4 weeks ago have flushed back pretty nicely. Much smaller than they were, which is to be expected, but I'm glad they're looking okay. And this red bud right here, this is the Rising Sun, has grown so much this year. It's doubled in size. One of the complaints I've read about it is that it just grows so quickly. I'm not mad about it, but it just means it might have to be pruned on in the spring pretty early to keep it in check, because this was supposed to be a statement tree right here, not to get super big, and this is eventually going to be a pathway whenever I get the time to actually go buy flagstone to put it down. So I'll have to keep the branches trimmed back a little bit, but that was kind of the intent here. I really love how it's filling in, and it's really beautiful in that spot, because this whole season, and it may just be because of all the heat and rain we've got, it's been all 3 colors, which it typically does this more in spring and fall as it's pushing new growth, but it's been pushing growth all season. It's one of my favorite red buds, and as you can see, very, very fast growing. What I have not been great about updating this season is my hydrangea trials tracking chart, and that's probably not that big of a deal because this is their first full season in the garden. There's not been as much progress on some of them as I would have liked, but it's not unusual for our climate, and especially the hard winter that we had, that these just need another year to settle in. So I'm going to go through and try and update that best I can. The bud count may not be as accurate from month to month. I hope to do a better job tackling that next year, and I plan to not have quite as many projects next year. I have been burnt out a little bit as we've headed into August, keeping up with things, and it's just been a tough gardening season for lots of us. Let's just take a look at the garden in this sunset light. I really like how the layers are developing in this garden quite well. It's hard to capture on video, I feel like, but the color contrasts and the texture contrasts are doing everything that I wanted them to do when I planted them. Like I mentioned, the Rising Sun here, and then we got the darkest Stilbees underneath. Those are dark side at the moon, contrasted with chartreuse on the loose catmint. Beautiful morning light grasses. Just so many things to look at as you go down this way. I know I showed y'all this Loves Me Not rose from Heirloom Roses in my last video, but this is just a little progression because it keeps pumping out blooms. This is the one I think I showed you in the last video. It's spent, but since that time it's opened, this one's pretty aged. This one's new, so you can see how it starts opening versus how it looks more fully opened. And then we got another bud here and another bud here. I think it's probably one of the most floriferous that I've seen this season of the ones I got, which I think I mentioned. This dogwood here, Paisley Pup, is also growing incredibly quickly. The hydrangea hedge is looking stunning. It's opened up a little more, I think, since I showed you in the last video. And there's a little bit of pink blushing on some of it. now that it's about to get, ooh, look, another rose. This is the Fun in the Sun. I don't know if I've had a good video with this one in it. Fun in the Sun from Heirloom Roses. Gorgeous. The petals are really like sharp. Not, you know what I mean, pointy, I guess would be the better term. I'm still shocked that this 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 Stormproof hydrangea has not burned. It is on drip irrigation, it's getting daily drip irrigation, but kind of wild that it's not, I mean, it's getting a little bit now that the blooms are aging, but it's not actually got crispy on me, which is crazy. And I did come through today and try and burn out the stumps that I had left over here so I can get these out of the flower bed. This one was successfully burnt out. This is where an old Rose of Sharon was that was massive. And then that one's got a little bit left that I'll have to keep up on, but really nice progress. I can pull this fire ring out of here and actually add mulch to this bed. And then I'm getting some shrubs in at the end of the month to add to this space. So you'll have to ignore the water hose because I've been watering all of these plugs and I've just kind of left it dragged out because that's where I'll need to water again. But I really like how this border's coming along here. This is the one that I started early. Oh, this is, I want to point this out because it looks incredible. This is the butterfly candy butterfly bush. It's called Lil Coconut by, it's called, the brand's Butterfly Candy, but it's the same company that produces Southern Living shrubs. And it is so stunning. Look how many blooms it's going to have on it. It's almost like a ton of candles, and it's got so thick this year. It's wild how much growth it put on in a season. But I'm really happy with how this shrub border is progressing. Is what I come here to show you. Now, I want your thoughts on something. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and I don't know where the best placement of it is, but I think it's behind me because I can easily get irrigation there, and that's kind of the issue that I'm moving forward with remaining spots in the garden. I want to be able to get drip irrigation to it easily because I've trenched enough over this property. I don't want to do any more towards the front of the garden to the extent I don't have to because it's further. The irrigation's on the back of the barn here, basically, is what I'm trying to say. It starts here and then it goes all the way around to the side of the house to feed the front garden beds. And I'm thinking here in this space, which is pretty open, about putting a formal boxwood and hydrangea garden. I'm not sure if I'm going to be choosing boxwoods or inkberry hollies. Proven Winners just added the new gen boxwood to their lineup, and so I may be able to use boxwoods because those are boxwood blight resistant. Which we have boxwood blight and boxwood moth in our county. Boxwood moth, there's no resistance. If you got it, you just have to deal with it. Spray your boxwoods for the moth if that's the problem. But I want it to be square, and I need to take some drone footage of the space and map it out. But essentially it would be a big square, 4 quadrants, with, I don't know if I would use gravel or something in the center, but I think it would be really nice behind me. Let me turn the camera around, we'll take a look. So if I was going to do something like that, I would probably tarp off this area and then plant the hydrangeas going into fall. But I'm thinking a rectangular here, that area, and kind of there'll be a pathway between that garden bed and the formal hydrangea garden, and then extra space here before we get to the swing set garden with the other perennials and hydrangeas. But the boxwood or the hydrangeas in this garden will be 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 Stormproof, and they would be, I think, 16 of them, so 4 in each quadrant. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for this space here. It's kind of open. It wouldn't be a huge area, maybe say 20 by 30-ish, maybe. I need to actually get out a tape measure and measure the space before I commit too hard to it. But that would be really easy to get drip irrigation to because there's already drip irrigation at the swing set, and I would just tap off it to use to water those hydrangeas in that space. The other option was to create a hydrangea hedge here, which I would probably prefer that if I hadn't planted these green giant arborvitae here. The green giants are great. Had them at the last garden, loved them. They grow really quickly, 3 to 4 feet a year, and they can get pretty wide. And back here is not so much of a problem, but here at the front, the spacing of this path, I want it to be even 8 feet all the way down, which is why I've got these markers here, because I need to come edge this bed to 8 feet. But it gets kind of tight right here, and I don't want to plant the hydrangeas and then in 1 or 2 years, this green giant arborvitae be kind of impeding on them and affecting their growth. So I don't think that's a great option here, and I don't want to really start it like after it, because that would look funny. So I've also considered doing blocking, so hydrangeas in the center and on the end there, but I really miss my incredible hydrangea hedge at my last garden. And so with the new variety being out, this is the perfect opportunity to plant something else with them. All right, we're gonna wrap up the video right here. I'm gonna go in and edit this video so I can get it uploaded for you tomorrow. And then I think I'm gonna take it pretty easy tomorrow, because I'm still a little tired and recovering from the heat and the long, seems like a very long season, although we're still got a couple months left here. Actually, gosh, only beginning of August. We still got like 2.5 months, so gotta pace myself. But check out the plant library. Let me know if you have any suggestions for it. If you've never used a QR code on your phone, you just open the camera app, hold the camera up in the photo option to your TV, and then it'll show, if you scan the QR code, it'll pop a little link under it on the iPhone anyway, and then you can click it and it will open it. Check it out and let me know what you think. Thank you for joining me, and remember, be a light. Take care. Bye.